Are you facing issues with your containerized Kafka client when trying to produce messages to your host Kafka server? You're not alone. Today, we're diving into a common problem that many developers encounter. I understand how frustrating it can be when everything seems to work perfectly on your server. But then you hit a wall when using Docker. It can feel like you're stuck in a maze with no way out. Trust me, many have been there. Let's look at a specific case. One user reported that they have a zookeeper and Kafka setup on their server that works flawlessly. They can produce and consume messages locally without any issues. However, when they try to do the same from a Docker container, they encounter errors. Sound familiar? Let's explore this together. So, what could be causing this issue? The error message indicates a timeout when sending messages to the topic. This often happens due to network configuration issues between the Docker container and the Kafka server. Let's break it down step by step. And stick around. I have a crucial tip at the end that could save you a lot of headaches when working with Docker and Kafka. To begin resolving the user's issue, we need to ensure that the Kafka server is accessible from the Docker container. The user should check the network settings of the Docker container. Next, the user should verify that the Kafka server's listeners are correctly configured. The current configuration allows connections from any IP address, but we need to ensure that the Docker container can reach it. Now, the user should try producing messages using the Kafka console producer from within the Docker container. They need to specify the correct broker address. If the user still encounters a timeout error, they should check the firewall settings on the host machine. The firewall may be blocking the necessary ports. Finally, if the issue persists, the user should consider using Docker's host network mode. This allows the container to share the host's network stack. Fun fact, did you know that Kafka was named after the famous writer Franz Kafka? Just like his stories, working with Kafka can sometimes feel like navigating through a complex maze. Now, let's look at the answers provided by other users. An alternative solution provided by another user suggests that the producer inside the container cannot resolve the host name of your Linux guest OS. To fix this, you can manually add the host name to the /etc host file within the container. Alternatively, you can use the @host parameter when running your Docker container to specify the host name. Now, let's shift our focus to a different response. An alternative solution was provided by another user. They discovered that the issue could be resolved by editing the Kafka server.properties file. Specifically, they suggested adding the line advertise.listeners equals plaintext /192.168.2.8.9u92. It's important to note that the listeners parameter should not be set in this file. Here's the tip I promised. Always ensure your Docker containers have the right network configurations before deploying. This simple step can save you a lot of troubleshooting time. And there you have it. With these steps, you should be able to resolve your Kafka client issues in Docker. Remember, proper configuration is key. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe for more tips and tricks.